Hi, and welcome to TV My Husband Hates. I'm Cat Sims.
And I'm Reagan Kempton.
And we are reality TV addicts.
Addicts, aficionados.
Ooh, I like that. Experts.
Experts.
Basically, we know our shit when it comes to reality TV.
100%.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of TV My Husband Hates. As ever, I'm here with my lovely friend, Reagan Kempton. How you doing, babe?
I'm good. It's, just another week. Same old.
I'm worried that we might actually eventually run out of something to talk about.
Maybe. I think if the world wasn't slowly or really quickly imploding on itself, we would have nothing to chat about. But as it's not, we have plenty.
I honestly don't know where this is all going. Like, do you know what I mean? Do you get the feeling, is it just me that this is heading down a really slippery slope?
Yeah, I feel like the REM song, like "This is the end of the world as we know it," is just like constantly my background music for this entire time.
Oh, I feel you. It's getting worse and worse and worse. And as much as it would be lovely for me to look over at your lot with Trump and all that and go, "You're a bunch of fucking idiots," I've got my own bunch of fucking idiots here.
I mean, this is the thing. I think everybody's just a bunch of fucking idiots that's running the world, seemingly.
Oh, I think we should run the world. We'd have this shit sorted out in a heartbeat.
Maybe.
But honestly, I don't have any fucking time. That's the reality.
No.
I don't have the time.
No, not at all. I mean, I now have Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. So if I can get it done 3 days a week, then maybe that would be good. But
you're like worryingly, edgingly close on the edge of smug there a little bit.
Well, I just figure my kids already had their summer break at home. So now it's just time to get right back into school. And they're loving it. They love seeing other people. And I love it. I'm a happier, nicer mom now that I've got some time to actually do my work for work days.
Me too. Hang on. This is awkward. I think I might sneeze.
Oh.
I think I'm fine. It's passed.
Okay.
Yes. No. I mean, we've got 4 days this week. We'll have 4 days in the house to work for the first time since March. If you told me that I had just won a 2 weeks, all expenses paid, 5-star trip on a private jet to the Maldives, I wouldn't be as excited as I am about the prospect of 4 days in my own house to myself.
That's amazing. 4 days is amazing.
Oh, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I mean, I'm going to be so fucking efficient. You won't even know where I've come from. There'll be blog posts, there'll be Pinterest posts, there'll be Patreon content all over the fucking shop.
It'll all be done. I've kind of surprised myself how efficient I am on my 3 days. It's like, oh, I used to be this way all the time.
I know.
Hello,
that's the fun thing though as well, right? It's like before you had kids and you would go to work 5 days a week and you'd struggle through every task that you were given. You wouldn't get anything done.
No.
When you're a mum and you've only got 20 minutes to do 5 days work a week, you're on fucking fire.
Absolutely.
I mean, if anybody needed to hire somebody, they just need to hire mums.
Yeah. I feel essentially that's what my job is being a professional mom. Like being a social media manager, I'm just reminding people to get me their content on time consistently.
So it's either, can you please put your shoes on? Can you please send me your content? Can you please put your shoes on? Can you please send me? It's just the same thing. Exactly the same thing.
100%.
So we are here actually with only 2 shows, but we're going to drop in the Below Deck Sailing Yacht reunion because it was a 1-episode reunion. We would normally do a mini-sode, but actually because we've only got 2 shows to talk about Below Deck Med and Real Housewives of New York because Beverly Hills is on a break. We thought we'd just drop it in here. So that's what we're going to start with.
Yes. So let's crack on with the BDSY reunion. I'm going to really miss that name for it.
I know, but I also think that BDM, that we've,
that's true.
Med, I feel like that sounds dirty too.
Oh, because it's an actual thing. Isn't it? Oh, no, that we're missing a letter for it to actually be something.
Oh, man.
Not BDSM.
Again, our lack of research lets us down. I mean, that's like, I commit to doing the research by next week for various sexual acronyms to make sure that we know exactly what we're working with. I'll come armed with knowledge next week.
Excellent. I'm excited.
But for now, we'll
We'll
stick
crack
with what
on.
we've got. So BDSY reunion was just another virtual reunion, obviously, and just
Yeah.
a one episode show.
Yeah, it was just like an extended Watch What Happens Live, pretty much.
It was, and also one of the most, what's the word I'm looking for? International. We had somebody in Colorado,
Yeah.
Mallorca, Italy, South Africa, Canada, the States. I mean, they really were all over the world.
We had two people in Colorado. Madison was in Fort Collins, Colorado, and Parker is in Larkspur, Colorado.
Oh, I did see that.
Yeah. To go hunt
So,
them down.
who knew that you were going to be in the middle of all the action?
I know. It's so exciting.
You should probably not hunt them down, by the
No,
way. That kind
no.
of thing, generally frowned upon.
Probably a really bad phrase as well.
Yeah. But
anyways,
don't worry, guys, you're safe.
Yeah.
So we kick off with a discussion in this reunion about the love triangle, the Paget, Ciara, Georgia love triangle thing here. And there were two things that stood out to me. Firstly, that Paget was like, yeah, I wouldn't have gone after Georgia if Ciara wasn't there. I definitely wouldn't have gone after Georgia. I call bullshit.
100%. That's such bullshit.
And the other thing was Ciara's approach to it. And when I was hearing her say it, I was like, I just know that Reagan is going to be down with this.
You know, I've not been a huge Ciara fan through this entire season. I'm team Ciara now. Like, I loved how she handled it. She 100% was like, the blame is on Paget. He's the one in a relationship. He should have shut it down and he didn't. And she came out like the best, most well-rounded person from all this. I kind of feel.
She did. And I think that she just had a really badass approach to it, which was essentially, listen, either he wants to be with me or he doesn't want to be with me. It doesn't matter who's on the other end of it. Like, either he wants me or he doesn't. And he chose her, and she's like, he chose me, and that's fine. It's all good. Was it just me, or did you get the impression that Georgia was pretty pissed? And when I say pissed, I don't mean angry. I mean, like, actually on the booze.
Oh, yeah. I think everybody was. I mean, wouldn't you be? I mean, they don't have kids.
Now.
They don't have kids. They're just home all the time.
Oh, God, that would be so joyful.
I would be a massive alcoholic if I did not have kids through this entire quarantine. Like, if all I had to do was just do work and do the podcast, I'd just be drinking.
I know. I wonder if it would be boring. And then I think, no, it would be just the best.
It would have been like a 3-month holiday.
Oh, God, don't. It's like you're talking dirty to me right now. That's how it feels. You literally just gave me fizzy knickers.
Nice. How you doing?
How you doing? So, yes, I mean, in good news, it looks like Paget and Ciara are still going strong. They're obviously still on a boat in Italy somewhere.
Yeah.
That's great. And I'm happy for them. I mean, Paget's a bit of a wet blanket. Ciara's a bit of an oddball. Maybe they just make a great couple.
I think they really do. I mean, I think, they both work really fucking hard on the boat. Like, they don't put their relationship first. They are there to do a job and they knock it out. And I have a lot of respect for that because, I mean, they've been together for a long time. So obviously they have this shit down. I'm sure it's not the first time a girl has flirted with Paget. It's probably not going to be the last.
I think it might be.
You think it'll be the last time?
No, I think it might be the first time a girl's flirted with Paget, other than Ciara. I've got to be honest. I really do. Like, he's sweet, but I'm not sure, you know, I don't know.
I guess where I come from is, like, I think about the other men that we've seen working on these boats, and definitely there have been better looking men on the boats, but they're all kind of dicks. And that's actually, Paget was a nice dude, pretty much.
You're right. I'm being very shallow. He was a good guy.
Yeah,
we'll leave it there. The other thing that we get, that's the terrible way to start that sentence. Parker's back.
Parker is there. It really kind of surprised me. He was there for the reunion. I'd kind of forgotten he was even on the boat. I mean, I guess he was there a fairly long time, but I don't know. Like, he's just Parker. Like, I don't even really have a lot to say about him in this reunion, other than copped to being too emotional, but he blamed everything on being new, which I mean, yes, he was too emotional. I like anybody that can own their own shit even a little bit. That's right. More on that later. People who can't.
And I have to say, if you don't know anything about sailing, then it would be a fucking shit ton to learn, like right off the bat. That being said, he didn't know nothing about sailing. Like, he had been on boats, he did have some sort of background.
Yeah.
I just think he wasn't that prepared to learn. He wasn't in the right headspace to let somebody fucking teach him.
Not at all. I mean, he kind of came out like with like the biggest balls and acted like he fucking knew everything. And that was the main problem for everybody else, right? Everybody else on the boat was trying to talk to him, trying to tell him how to do things, and he wasn't fucking having it.
No.
So part of me is like, it's not because you were new, it's because you were a dickhead.
Yeah, it's because he didn't like anybody telling him what to do.
Yeah. And overconfident.
Right, but he looks happy and in
Yeah.
Colorado. He's obviously still with Katie. That's all fine. And then the next big chat is, of course, the interior, which was full of ups and downs.
I
First
think
of all, I just want to go on. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, I feel like this is the first time Madison was kind of able to put words to her feelings, because she's very open about how she felt purposely left out of everything by Jenna, and she felt like she was segregated from all of them. And I think we as viewers saw that throughout, but she never said that on the boat. And I think she was really struggling to kind of find those words, but here at the reunion, she fucking had her words.
She did. She found them. I still think she delivers them in a way that's really overly emotional. It kind of undermines her, and it gives Jenna a way to just undermine her.
Totally.
But Jenna comes in with this age-old tactic that drives me insane. This whole, it was a joke. It's just banter. And Georgia's the one that calls her out and is like, you know what? It's not okay. Like, you don't have that kind of relationship with us or with Madison to call it that. Like, you can't do it at this point. You can't just walk in, meet somebody and start ripping the shit out of them, go, it's just a joke. Like,
yeah,
not okay. And this is Jenna all the way through, like, absolutely not taking. And the tears, I didn't believe.
No, it was a bit much.
It was a bit much, and I just want her, like, the whole season I've really tried, because I know she's been getting a hard time on social media, and I don't want to add to that, but I might be about to add to it a little bit. But I've really tried to find the good in her. I've really tried to find redeeming qualities when she's done something nice. We've really tried.
Yeah.
And I really thought that after her declarations on social media about how she was sorry, she was owning it, she recognized her behavior, that she would come on and say that to Madison, that she would say that to Georgia, and that's all she needed to say.
Yeah.
But it was just defensiveness, excuse after excuse. And I just thought, it's just never going to change. Jenna hasn't learned anything.
No, and I almost feel like, at least for me as the viewer, it made me feel like all her social media declarations were just complete bullshit. Like, they were just like voyeuristic learning, almost like, oh, I've seen I've seen, like the wrong of my ways, I'm sorry, blah blah blah. But I think you're absolutely right. Had she come onto the reunion and said the shit that she's been posting, I would have loads more respect for her. But now I just feel all the social media stuff was bullshit, and almost a way to make people feel sorry for her.
Yeah,
like, oh, she's learned her lesson. Like, okay. But you know what? No, she hasn't. If she had properly learned her lesson, in my opinion, she would have gone to the reunion, said everything that she's been posting to the people she actually hurt, and we would have been done.
But it's like, those keyboard warriors that say the most awful things, and it's much easier to say them because it's so removed doing it on social media.
Yeah.
An apology on social media is the same. It's much easier to apologize on social media because you're one step removed. Actually looking at somebody, I mean, obviously not face to face because we were on.
Yeah.
But actually for her to do it in that environment in front of everybody, she couldn't do it. And that was when I thought, you know what? You haven't changed. All you needed to do today, Jenna, was turn up, own your shit, and literally all would have been forgiven.
Yeah.
But you didn't. And it just felt like one more defensive move after another. And I just thought, oh, I can't be bothered. I'm glad you're off my screen, babe. Go off in the van with fucking Adam and do what you need to do.
Yeah, it'll be interesting if they have her back. Like, I don't see her being a recurring head stew. Like, she's not a Hannah or a Kate or, anything like that. So I think we'll possibly get a whole new crew if they pick this up for a second season.
I agree. I think there were two things about one phrase came up in that discussion between Georgia and the interior, and then another phrase came up afterwards. And I thought it was really interesting in terms of the whole world of yachting and what is deemed acceptable. Georgia said, you sign over your human rights when you sign the contract. And whoever it was that said it, I can't remember, said it's a different world in yachting. Oh, I think it was Madison in reference to the guy that picked her up.
Oh,
and,
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
manhandled her.
Yeah.
It could have even been Captain Glenn, but they said it's a different world in yachting. And I worry about this acceptability of just going, oh, it's yachting. It is what it is. That behavior's okay. And I think
Yeah.
it refers to the bullying, the misogyny, the manhandling by the guests. It's really dangerous that everybody is in that mind space.
Well, absolutely. I mean, I think we're seeing in real life how dangerous it is that everybody's in that mindset, about kind of the current state of race relations, right? Like, oh, it's just jokes, or it's just this, it's just that. It's like, no, it's a fucking problem. And I think it's the same thing in the yachting industry. Like, everything that we pick up on as viewers and we're like, this is really fucked up, is fucked up. It shouldn't be happening to anybody. Like, people shouldn't be manhandling people at work. People should not be talking shit to, like, their underlings or wherever. Like, if you had a job, like a regular office job, and you treated people the way Jenna treated people, that you'd be fucking slapped with so many HR lawsuits. It's not even funny.
Yeah, we see it on the last episode when Georgia finally stands up to Jenna and says, oh, because you're doing the bullying. And we see Jenna go and talk to Byron. Both of them are quite old school yachties. And Byron's like, this is just how yachting is. Like, they just need to get on board. And I think, you know what, there's a difference between a hierarchy and this kind of weird bullying power vacuum shit that goes on. And it's just a bit dark that everybody's just accepting it and nobody's challenging it.
Well, it's almost like a prison, right? Like, this is just how it is. These are the people you report to. You can treat people however the fuck you want because they have no rights here. And it's like, no, like, you're all still human. It's pretty fucking gross. And if you guys recognize that it's so gross, start making some fucking changes. Like, you're the head stew. If you think that this is a problem, then you need to start changing it. Or, like Byron's being, he's the engineer.
Yeah.
Like, fucking speak up. If, like, yes, this is the way yachting may have been in the past, but it doesn't fucking mean it has to be that way now. Like, aren't we
But the
evolved?
thing is, it's like, well, it's just like what's going on in the world right now, because the current system favors Jenna and the Jennas and Byrons. Like, it works for them. They're the ones that have all the power. So of course they like the system. They don't want to change the system. They don't want to have to be accountable. So they have no motivation to change it. It's just like, what's going on in the world with the race relations that you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
A lot of white people have no motivation to change it because it fucking benefits them.
Right.
Us, like, it benefits us. So, I think this is the problem. But I found it really interesting. And I think it was Captain Glenn that said that second quote. And I remember thinking, wow, it's even there, even at the captain level, of a really good guy and a good captain that we all loved.
Yeah.
I mean, I loved Captain Glenn.
Absolutely.
Really respected him and the way he handled and his decision making. But it does seem to be, yachting does seem to be this kind of abyss of kind of old school, dark, shitty behavior that people just let go.
Well, and it's almost like, well, you're making plenty of money, so you need to shut up and take it, right? Like, you're making tips, you're making your salary, you're making shit tons of money and getting to see the world. So what the fuck do you have to complain about? And that's problematic.
It's really problematic. It's not. It's very, very problematic. But that aside, I mean, I don't think that the interiors are gonna. I don't think they're gonna be. I don't think that's gonna ever be worked out while Jenna is handling things the way that she's handling things.
I think her lack of accountability is really hugely not to use the same word, but to use it again, is problematic. Like, if you never own up to what you do wrong and you just continue doing things the same way, you're, in my opinion, kind of a stagnant human being. Like,
Yeah.
What's the
I
point?
wanted Georgia to be stronger in this reunion, to be honest. I wanted her to stand up a little bit more. I wanted that last episode, Georgia, to come in, and I felt like she could have called Jenna out a little bit more.
Yeah,
But
but I think it just kind of mirrors that dynamic that they had on the boat, right? Like Madison and Jenna are the ones that are fighting, and Jenna's just kind of in the middle and doesn't really speak out on either side. And I agree with you. I wish she had kind of stepped up a little bit more, because the Georgia we kind of left the boat with was very, clear in the way that she felt about the way they'd been treated on the boat. And I wish that had carried over a bit, but maybe she's just over it. She's off. She doesn't care. She'll focus on her music.
fair enough. Jenna and Adam, I mean, could you figure it out? I was like, are you together? Are you not together? Adam's reticence is just it's just so irritating. You know, that kind of, I'm just too fucking good for this.
He's just a dickhead.
I
Like,
know.
you
And it's
sign up
really
to be on a
annoying.
reality show, but like then you're all like surly about your personal life being shared. Like, what the fuck, dude? This is not 20 years ago. This is not the first time the show has ever aired. You fucking knew what you were in for. You knew especially what you're in for if you're going to start having a relationship with somebody on the boat. You knew all this shit was going to happen. Don't play the poor me. I just want to be like alone in my van. Then don't fucking go on TV.
I mean, the man hadn't even fucking showered.
No,
Hadn't
he doesn't
even
give a
showered.
fuck.
They just fucking sat in some dirty. Well, I mean, the dog was cute, but like, I feel like that's it. I feel like that's it. Adam and his dog and his van. And you
Yeah.
know what, Adam? All
Bye.
the fucking luck to you. Knock yourself out. Go live in your van, but like, stay there now. Like, I'm
Yeah.
done. Don't fuck around. Don't come back for the money and then be a cunt about it. Either be
Exactly.
in or be out. And actually, I think now, just get in that van of yours with your dog. It looks like it suits you. You're happy. Move on.
Yeah, and I mean, I think like because we got a little cameo from Captain Sandy in this reunion where she's just like, Adam's the same he's always been. So I mean,
Yeah.
maybe in that way, maybe he and Jenna are perfect together because they're never going to own up to their foibles and they're never going to grow. So maybe that's fine. They've got that in common. But yeah, I really like one of my biggest pet peeves are people who go on reality shows and then fucking bitch about like, oh, people are, writing about me or people are doing this about me. It's like you're on TV. Like you made a conscious decision. Again, this is not like the first time a reality show has ever been on TV. Adam has actually been on one of these shows before. He knew exactly what to expect. The whining and the bitching really fucking gets me.
I know. And it's really annoying because not to be like completely unfeminist about this. He's really cute. And if he was actually a nice guy, he'd be a great character to have on there. But he's just like, I look at his face and then I look at his soul,
Yeah.
and it's just cute face, ugly soul.
Well, that's his character, right? Like he
Yeah.
can do all this shit because he is good looking. So there's always going to be women who are going to go for the
Yes.
good looking, unemotionally available dude. I mean, it's the oldest fucking story in the book, right?
I
We've
don't
all
know what
been
you're
there.
talking
We've all
about.
done
I
those
don't know
dudes.
what you're talking about.
It's a horrific experience, but I mean, there's going to be no shortage for him. Like he can just be him, and that's fine. Just don't show it off on TV and then get all upset that people are in your business. Like,
Yeah.
fuck off.
Yeah, it is. Anyway, who knows who'll be back next season? Adam won't be, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
I really hope they do pick this one up again. It has been great, and I think the Below Deck franchise is going really, really well for Bravo.
No, I totally agree. I think I would like to see Ciara in the role of like the chief stew because I think that's what she did beforehand. And it'd be interesting to see how she and like Paget run the boat together. That would be kind of my wish list. I'd like to see that.
I agree. I think it was a weird choice of Glenn to put her on the exterior. I'd like to see her on the interior too. So maybe they'll be back. Maybe Paget, Ciara, Captain Glenn will be back, and we'll get a whole new crew.
Yeah. We have anything else to add about the reunion?
Nope, I think I'm good.
All right. So that brings us to BDM. Pause for dramatics or a little bit of giggles.
I am already getting 10 times satisfaction, drama, endorphin rushes from this season of BDM than I got in the whole 11 billion years of Real Housewives of Atlanta. Like,
Oh
this
yeah.
is such a good season.
Oh my gosh. Like Laura.
I can't even.
Such a
Her
dick.
arrogance knows no bounds.
And again, it's almost like the same thing. Like she definitely has more experience than Parker. Like I'm not going to call her new on the boat. She knows what she's supposed to do. She's so fucking arrogant and thinks she can kick all this ass. But then she is put on service. She fucking sucks.
I know. Well, as you said, like, if you're going to be this kind of obnoxious, confident, if you're going to be this kind of obnoxious and confident about something, you got to fucking deliver.
Yeah.
And she just, I mean, it's just awful. Not only does she not do good service, but she also starts to rub up Jess and Kiko the wrong way. Now, Hannah and Lara, I get it. Like, that was always going to be fireworks. Excuse me. But Jess is super sweet, and she lays straight into Jess. And Kiko, I mean,
That's like kicking a puppy.
It is like kicking a fucking puppy.
She kicked a fucking puppy.
It's not okay.
No. Like there's something dead in your soul if you could be mean to Kiko. Like, yes, he sucks at putting food out on time. It's something he needs to work on, but his food is really good and he is a lovely human being.
He really is. And I don't know where this comes from with Lara. I don't know whether she has just been so spoiled and so coddled and told that she deserves everything and she's the most I feel like that's what it is.
And take no shit from anybody too. Like I feel like on all of her like confessionals, that was like the running thread. Like she has been raised to take no shit from anybody. But I also feel like you've misread that kind of lesson, because you still
you've really
kind of
taken that and run with
kind
it.
And you're not kind.
But also no self-awareness, right?
No.
There's a certain point where, I mean, we've all known them. We've all known kids who are absolute twats. Like, and you just go, I hate that kid. Like, I know it's awful to say, but there are some kids that you just like, I just don't like you. You're a dick. 9 times out of 10, that kid gets to a certain age where they gather a certain amount of self-awareness, and actually they turn out to be pretty decent human beings.
Or they get their ass kicked. Yeah.
Laura, or that. Laura never got to that point. Laura just genuinely thinks that everybody owes her a fucking favor. She's the most entitled person I've ever seen. And I have to say, like, Hannah is not great at dealing with this stuff, but I think that she is actually dealing with this pretty well.
Yeah, I'm actually really surprised. Like, I thought this would be immediately Hannah's undoing. And maybe it will be eventually, because we definitely see Laura kind of kissing Sandy's ass a little bit about like, oh, but I just want to be on service and like all this just ridiculous shit.
Well, that's just really manipulative as well. Like, we saw what she was doing there, and Sandy fell for it, hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah. Well, I think it's like the white glove service, right? Like once you see somebody trying to do that, that's like Sandy's soft spot. Like that's what she wants. But like, surely Laura is going to be fired.
I can't imagine that Sandy will let that shit go. And right now, Sandy hasn't seen any of this. And I think Hannah's been very restrained. She's taken it to her now. We see it at the end of this episode, because she does try to do what Sandy says, which is make her better. Go and fix it. Go do your job. Hannah's fine. She really sits down, and before she can even say anything, Lara comes at her. And I think it's absolutely right that she drags Sandy away from her cereal.
Yeah.
Which she's not happy about it. Like, there's going to be a really fucking good reason why you're taken away from a Cocoa Pops.
Yeah.
And I cannot wait to see Sandy's reaction to Lara.
Like, I can't wait to see like Laura be that fucking rude in front of Sandy. So part of me wonders if like the minute Sandy comes in, she's gonna like tone it down, like be a bit of like, we call it here in the US like Eddie Haskell. Like on this old show Leave It to Beaver, it was like this kid who fucked everything up but was really nice to the parents. His name was Eddie Haskell. So like when you meet people like that, you call them Eddie Haskells. Like they kiss ass to authority, but they're fucking cocksuckers to everybody else. So it'll be interesting to see if Laura continues on her disrespectful tirade towards Hannah, or if she changes it up a bit.
I bet both my ovaries she carries on. Like, I think her arrogance is so beyond that she won't even recognize the authority of Sandy at this point. I think she genuinely thinks her behavior is acceptable and that she is right.
Yeah. No, I would agree with that. We'll see. We'll
But
see
I have to say, the
next
fact that
week.
Hannah didn't punch her when they were in the galley, I would have punched her. I'm going to say I would have punched her.
I thought she was going to. Like,
and I wouldn't have blamed her. Nobody would have blamed her.
no. Such a dick.
Do you know what it reminds me of? I know, I can't remember his name. I'm not going to say it, obviously.
Right.
But I know that there was a kid that we used to teach that had that attitude as well.
There was quite a few kids that
There
we
was quite a few
had that kind
but
of
that's
attitude.
what it is. It feels like you're teaching me. It's a year 9.
Yeah,
it's a year 9 kid.
Yeah, I remember him.
Yeah. Oh, I've just remembered his name. So good they named him twice. That's a little joke right there.
Oh goodness.
I hope he's not listening. Anyway, I mean, we'll just have to see. I'm with you. I think she has to go. I can't imagine that Lara is going to get away with that, but we will see. We did also see Malia start to get a little bit more confident, and maybe this was her plan all along. Maybe it was like, you know what, I'm just going to give a little bit and then go bang, this is it. Sorry, I left you to talk there while you were drinking.
Yeah, no. I think you're right. I think maybe it was a plan, or maybe she just didn't know she needed to have a plan to deal with dudes like Pete. Like, she thought they would just automatically respect the hierarchy, whoever it was, and obviously that's not the case. Pete's bullshit chivalry makes me want to reach into the screen and punch him in the motherfucking face. He's such a cock. Calling Molly a master and just all this disgusting fucking shit. Like, if I was Pete's mom, I would be so fucking embarrassed.
I would too. I'd be on the fucking phone saying, sort your shit out.
Yeah. Like, I hope she's rage texting him right now when she's watching these episodes. Like, how the fuck dare you embarrass me so badly on the television?
I brought you up better than that. I taught you better. He is, I mean, he's a meathead, right? He's just like the rhymes that they're singing in the galley. Roses are red, violets are blue. My bus driver's titties are bigger than you. I mean, it doesn't even make any sense. Not even grammatically correct. But you're right, this master thing and all this. And she finally has a chat with him, and she's like, listen, you know, you don't get on board, you don't treat me with respect, then you won't be my lead deckhand. I don't know how he's going to respond to that. I really want him to go, do you know what? Molly's right. She's great. And you know, I'm not going to let my ego get in the way of what could be a great summer. So I'm going to put my bullshit aside, and I'm really going to step up for her and do the job and make my mum proud. That's what I want him to say.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
No, I don't think that's going to happen either. I think he's going to trip over his ego.
Yeah, but I think he may be the only one, because while Alex was laughing at those ridiculous rhymes, he also, like, we see the little montage where he was raised by a single, like, working mother. And so, like, he's very respectful for women. I think he will fall in line very easily with Malia. I think he's used to having strong women in his life. So I think he's fine with that. And I think Rob is too. Like, we get kind of that background of Rob and his mom and, you know, the alcoholism and the struggles and his drug running. And there's a lot going on with Rob that I don't think we initially saw. Like, I just thought he was going to be this, like, pretty boy deckhand because he was modeling and whatnot. But I think there's some substance there, and I'm pretty excited to see how Malia, Rob, and Alex work together, because I think they'll be fine. I think Pete will be very much on the outs because he's being such a cock.
Well, I hope that's how it goes. Like, what I hope doesn't happen is that Pete pulls Alex over to his bullshit. Like, I really hope that Alex is strong enough to go, do you know what, Pete, just fucking get on board. Like, don't be a dick. With regards to Rob and the rumors that he's dating Madison, pretty sure. I actually, having learned more about Rob, that match actually now makes a lot of sense. Like, they both have suffered quite serious family traumas. They've gone through a lot of shit. You know, I think actually maybe this is something that could really work. I'm excited for it.
I know, me too. I've been, like, stalking both of their Instagram accounts to, like, try to find more. There hasn't been anything yet, but we'll see.
Oh, you'll keep on that. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. I'm very excited to see Sandy rip Lara a new one. And I honestly think if Lara is not fired by the end of the next episode, it'll be a fucking miracle.
Oh, yeah. Because I think we've seen people fired for much less. And I mean, the fact that she starts 30 minutes late, like just to be an asshole, like,
Such
oh,
a
it's just too
dick.
much. It's just
I
too much.
just, it's so much. It makes my blood boil. Like it makes me rage. I can't bear it. It's too much for
No,
me.
no.
Um,
So we'll see how it turns out next week.
we will. Let's move over now to our third and final show, which is, of course, Real Housewives of New York City. Now, we don't have any Beverly Hills this week. You're saying that they're on hiatus till
They're
July.
on hiatus until July. Like the Real Housewives, they're running old shows with like the housewives commenting on them, but I don't really feel like that's worth our time to then watch people commenting on an old show and commenting on the people comment. Like that's
Yeah,
a
it
little
starts to
too
get.
meta.
I was about to say it starts to get a bit too meta at that point. So we ditched Beverly Hills and we moved
Yes.
straight on to New York, where we've got. Oh man, I mean, we've got Dorinda going back to her old self, but this is Tinsley's final episode.
Yeah, I mean they even did the whole like end credits on like where she's going now, which was shocking to see at like episode 11 of a show. But what really pisses me off about Dorinda in this episode is she has been fucking on Tinsley's jock to talk about her and Scott from almost the very beginning of the season. And the minute Tinsley tries to, and it's good, Dorinda just fucking shoots her down and doesn't want to talk about it and just talks over her and is a real fucking asshole to her and brings in like Luann, and Ramona's even a dick to Tinsley too. And it's just like, this is just bullshit, man.
I'm starting to think it's two things with Dorinda. Yes, I know she's going through some shit, and I think there's an element of jealousy that somebody might be finding the happy ending that was sort of snatched away from her. Fine, all right, go to your therapist, figure that shit out. But also, I'm starting to feel like Dorinda absolutely has a fundamental problem with the spotlight being on anybody else, because she's pissed at Tinsley for trying to take her moment and talk about Scott and say how happy she is. And Leah's right. She's like, just give her this. Like, just give her this fucking.
Right.
She's on her way out. Like, just
It's not gonna
let her
hurt.
talk about it.
Yeah.
What's the fucking problem? And then at Ramona's birthday planning, I don't know whether I was going mental here, but Dorinda is pissed that Ramona wants her birthday to be about her.
Yeah. That's 100% the gist of the situation.
I mean, forgive me if I'm mistaken, but surely your birthday is the one day where you can go, it's about me.
Yeah, especially if you're paying for it and you're coordinating it all and you're throwing this big party. Like, I am really baffled at why Dorinda is so angry that Ramona is not including other people's birthdays who are around the same time, which is Dorinda and Sonia. 'Cause, like, they have had group birthdays in the past. I don't even understand why this is a question. I would punch somebody in the face if I was planning like my big birthday and they're like, oh, so-and-so's birthday is like a couple weeks after yours. Don't you think you should do a joint birthday party? It's like, fuck no. It's my birthday.
Note to self. Don't suggest joint birthday with Reagan. No,
unless it's pre-planned. Like we could, because yeah.
But the pre-planning thing would be fine. Like,
yes.
You can't just turn up at the fucking final hurdle and go, oh, can I jump on board? No. Go organize your own
Like,
birthday.
I'm solidly Team Ramona on that. Like, Ramona has nothing to apologize for. She has nothing to feel bad about because she's throwing herself a fucking birthday party. It doesn't matter if she's in, like, a table in the middle with a spotlight on her. It's her fucking birthday.
Knock yourself out, babe. You do you. And can I just say that if I was Dorinda going to that thing, you're there to support. You're there to go, oh, that's lovely. Oh, my God, it's going to be so great. Oh, I can't wait. I'm so happy for you. That's your fucking job.
Yeah, you're a friend.
What can I do to help? Is there anything I can do? Or just fucking shut up, eat the sweets, drink the champagne, and let her plan her birthday. Don't hijack it and make her out to be a selfish bitch because she's throwing herself a birthday party.
No, it's absolutely ridiculous. Just drink your champagne and have a good time. Actually, be happy you're not having to plan any of this shit or coordinate anything.
Right? And also, the other thing that Dorinda said that really made me want to climb into the TV and fucking spoon her eyes out with a blunt spoon. when she's talking to Tinsley at dinner and she does that awful thing about, she's going on about, oh, you're going to move out of a hotel, move out of your hotel, as if like she's such a child, she can't even have her, I mean, it's a residential apartment. I think it's fine. Service apartments, she's good. But then she says, I've got turkey basted. Maybe you can try to have a baby. I was like,
she crosses all the fucking lines.
All the lines. All we know about Tinsley is that she's desperate for children. She's frozen. This has been an emotional fucking upheaval for her. The whole baby egg freezing thing. Like, this is too much. And to say that is so. It something went on in Dorinda's brain that's like, what's the worst thing that I can say? That's it, and I'm going to say it. And at that point, I go, Dorinda, I don't care how down to earth you are. I don't care how protective you are of Leah or all the rest of it, whatever it is. All of you, there's nothing that can redeem you right now.
No, it is so gross. She did not make it nice, which is her old shtick anyways. And I feel like we've never really, I mean, we've seen bits of this kind of mean Dorinda, like when she threw Luann's mugshot in her face last season about the wine and whatever. But like, this is low and gross and dirty.
It's a whole new level.
Ugh.
And I do think she needs to sit down with her therapist and really work this shit out, because I don't think, she's not a Lara. She's not an inherently terribly egotistical, entitled cowbag. We've seen her be very different.
Yeah.
There's definitely something, but she needs to work it out. And I really hope that she's watching this back and going,
holy fuck. Yeah.
Maybe I need to do some work on myself.
It's like she's got like a 20-year-old daughter, like Hannah. Like, how the fuck would she feel if anybody said that to Hannah?
I mean, can you imagine? I mean, but even your daughter watching that, like that would be not okay for me.
No, it's so like anti-girl. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't do that shit to your girlfriends. You don't do that shit to anybody. That's just mean.
I know, it really is. It's like she's going out of her way to be as vile as she can possibly be. And I love that Tinsley got her happy ending. Like, I know that it's moving fast, but I think if you've been together for 2 years and then you break up and then you get back, if you're getting back together, you're getting back together because you're getting married and you're having kids. You don't go backwards and forwards.
No, also, it's not like she's 20 years old and this is her first relationship. Like, she's, I think, like in her 40s, maybe mid 40s. Like, fuck, like when you first get together at that point, like, you know what you want. You both know where you want to go. Like, who the fuck cares?
Yeah, I think that getting her out of New York, getting her away from those god awful women.
Yeah.
I wanted to marry Scott, have babies. That will be interesting. Tinsley with babies.
Yeah.
But do all of that and just have her happy ending and leave Dorinda to drown in a cesspit of her own venom.
Yeah, because she's just so fucking miserable right now. Like, I don't know if part of it's like, did she ever just like not grieve Richard? Like, did she just like jump onto the thing with John? His name was John, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did she just like jump into the bed with John or jump into being with John and then like just kind of push herself forward? And now that she's ended that, is she finally just fucking trying to deal with the grief of losing her husband? Because
I think that's a lot of it. And I think it's not just the grief of losing her husband, but also a grief of losing the lifestyle.
Right.
And not actually I don't actually mean that in a materialistic way, because she's still got a shit ton of stuff. But
she's fine.
The lifestyle of having her lobster, like her soulmate, her friend, and all the friends that they had in London and all over the world. I think that's what she's finally grieving. And I think seeing other people get their happy ending or being happy is very, very difficult and triggering for her. That being said, it's not a fucking excuse.
No, you suck it up and you're happy for other people. That's what you do.
And you work your shit out. Like, if you know that you're miserable and you're unhappy and you can see it, because she knows she's doing it.
Fuck yeah.
She's not sleeping well at night.
No. She's drinking way too much.
You call your fucking therapist.
Yeah.
And you get this shit sorted. And I think that's where she is. And it's sad to see, because I always liked Dorinda.
I do too. And but I say do because I do feel like she will come back from this, but it's like, ick.
I know. I want it to happen soon. Every episode I see of that behavior, it just makes my skin crawl.
Well, because I feel like we've been a bit on an up down. Like, she'll have a really fucking terrible episode, and then like she'll be fine.
Yeah.
And then like this is like really gross. And now we have to wait until July to see like a nice Dorinda.
So so that's it. So we've got no Housewives for 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks maybe.
But next week, $1 Million Listing LA is starting on the 16th.
And Frederick's in that, isn't he?
He is. So that
I'm excited.
Yeah, that'll be exciting.
That will be good. So next week we'll only have 2 shows. We'll have Below Deck Med and $1 Million Listing.
Yeah, we will also have a mini-sode covering the Vanderpump Rules reunion, which has been fucking fire. If you guys have been watching that, I mean, I've only watched the first one and it was pretty explosive, so I'm pretty excited.
Can I ask, did they get that in before lockdown? Is it virtual or is it in
It's
the studio?
virtual. No, it's virtual. But
Got it.
That takes nothing away. I think almost that makes people worse, like because they're not sitting by each other, they can just spill all the fucking tea and the shit and you get to hear a lot of.
Well, there's also a lot to talk about. Maybe we should do a Patreon episode about the Stassi Kristen news, because they've obviously been fired off the back of racist actions and comments that they've made. So maybe we can do some Patreon content on that. And
speaking of Patreon, if you haven't heard, we are also over there and you get sweet ass bonus content like our thoughts on Kristen and Stassi over there. So I think there's 3 different tiers. Just to support us is £3 a month. To get access to our monthly bonus content is £5 a month. And if you want fucking bonus ass content every week, pony up the 10 quid and you will get it.
You will. I mean, I don't know when we'll do it, but we'll fucking find the time.
We'll figure it out.
But for now, thank you very much for joining us for another episode of TV My Husband Hates. We hope that you have a really, really great week.
Yeah, keep your heads up, guys. And remember that smart people watch reality TV too.
They do. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Please subscribe, rate, and review TV My Husband Hates wherever you listen to your podcast. You can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram at TV My Husband Hates and join the Facebook group to keep the conversation going when the podcast ends. If Twitter's your thing, you'll find us at TV Husbands Hate. Theme music and production for TV My Husband Hates is by Jimmy Sims.